Abstract brainwaves, game genie in the beanie. We ain't on the same stage, leveled up. The epitome of technique, can't survive in my current thought.
Other yellow hat guy here, back with another video. Let me back up just a little bit. And we're just gonna talk for a little bit. It's a little chilly out, a little cold. I really didn't intend to get into the new research just yet. Reason being, I was just fresh off of the Regigigas and not really paying attention to this new Team Go Rocket stuff. There were leaks, there were images that were put up, some of which I believe I discussed also in previous videos, but I didn't expect a full-on research to just be right out there, and it was. So it works like this, and I'm going to, on the side here, show footage of what I actually did this past weekend. And these grunts are essential for getting these mysterious components. I think that's what they're called, mysterious components. You get a good number of those, 6 I believe. I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm with the list, but again, if you haven't seen the other videos me explaining, the liners are in Smile Direct. I'm working with them on getting my smile the way I would like it to be. So we'll see how that goes. Should be an interesting 6 months, but I digress. You see here, I'm battling one of these grunts, and, you know, run-of-the-mill, they don't block. As long as you have type advantage, you're going to win. And even if you don't always have type advantage, if you've got really good Pokemon, you're gonna win. So here you see my Mewtwo just single-handedly taking out this whole team here. Now, I was kind of over the whole Team Rocket thing, but one of the things that I asked for, they actually gave us. And I was really excited for that. If you look back at some older videos again, some of you are new here, I was like, hey man, it would be nice if Niantic kept it fresh, where they kept giving you different types of grunts, not these same generic ones. Not only that, where's Giovanni? We got to see him in the game. He's got to be there. Jesse, James, well, they're not here, at least as far as I know. But Giovanni is. And we're not going to get into how to get him yet, because as of this video, I figured out how. But I want to keep that fresh for myself and for you in case you're still going through this, because it's not easy just to go against him. It's going to take a while. Unless you've got 5 days in a row that you can devote towards Pokemon. So what you have to do is this. You've got to purify a bunch of Pokemon, and you also have to battle some of these Go Rocket members, Cliff, Arlo, and Sierra. And they're nothing like these grunts here. Oh no. It's taken me a couple of days to get my self-esteem back, because your boy Cliff, he took it with him. So, you all know that from levels 38 to 40, your Pokemon IVs and all that are going to be, or not the IVs, but the levels are going to be one way versus people who are under that level. They're going to be all different. So, me battling somebody who's level 26, it's going to be skewed a little to give them a chance to compete with me, right? Same thing. That person who's level 26 going against a raid boss or one of these grunts, it's going to be different for them than it will be for me going against those same grunts. I might have a CP max of 11,000 on one Pokemon, and theirs might be somewhere around 8. I don't really know, but I know it's different, is what I'm trying to say. So let's move into this next clip here. When I beat the grunt, I got a mysterious component. So there was that. And here's some more footage here. I'm at the day of the beach stop. I needed a beach trip this year. But this guy is telling me, hey, I'm stealing some more items or what have you. Normal does not mean weak. So I was looking for Snorlax to capture, but instead what I was getting was Snorlaxes that were ready to put a pounding on me. And I didn't even know how you got to encounter Cliff or Arlo or Sierra. I didn't know. I thought you just go to a random Pokestop and there they are. So I believe in this footage here, I am struggling with just a rocket grunt. So I'm not going to focus too much on that. Let's just see what happens here. We've got Kobalion who's out, who's a fighting type, so it didn't register to me that, hey, you might want to use some of them as fighting type. Because right now I've only got, my biggest bottleneck is I've got one good Machamp, maybe 1.5. But I wasn't aware that his fighting moves weren't that great. And I say that to say I did a lot of battles and I lost a lot of those because although I might have picked the correct type, the moves weren't there. So here you see my Machamp going against this Porygon. He's got almost, he's got over double the CP that my Machamp has, but this Heavy Slam it looks like a steel move. It's not what I needed there for a normal type Pokemon. It did massive damage, but what it needed was, a fighting move, Karate Chop or something like that. Because what you're going to run into is these Pokemon that you fight, they're so much higher than you, you're going to need to get a really good attack in to not go through all of your Pokemon. So what this is good for, essentially, is pretty much PvP training. I'm not the best at PvP. I'm aware of the rock, paper, scissors dynamic of Pokemon. That's a crux of the gameplay. However, the DPS and everything when it comes to raids can be different going with these trainer battles. Why? Because you've got other people helping you in the raids, right? And the raid bosses don't block attacks. They don't have shields, and while you can dodge, that might slow you down, and you can keep going with as many Pokemon as you can, whereas here it's just, hey, the first to lose all 3, that's it. Or if the time runs out, I don't remember. Maybe you can one person can have 1 Pokemon left and the other one can have 2 and the time runs out and they give it to that person. I haven't seen one of those in some time, if ever, so I can't really remember. So here you see my Hariyama 1, and I had to defeat 2 out of these 3. So what you're getting is mysterious components each time that you win. So I had to get 6 of those. I'm not sure if this clip showcases all of it. I'm not really going to focus on all that, but I thought that the Shadow Porygon was cool. And, in addition to that, you've got Shiny Meowth, you've got Shiny Scyther, and when I say shiny, I mean they can be shiny and shadow. That's a new, mechanic they've got here. So I know I might be a little bit late with that. Some of you are like, yeah, we already knew that. That's fine. But these look really cool. The Porygon with the red eyes. There's another one that's got the red eyes too that I really liked. I can't remember it off the top of my head right now, but I almost didn't want to purify it. But one of the quests that they had up was to, part of the research was to purify 15 of these things. So one thing that's really irritating me was there's supposed to be a mysterious component that you can purchase in the shop. And maybe it wasn't just a component, maybe it was the actual reward for that itself. It is not there. So what am I getting at? Some people who played on Friday or Thursday, it might have been there for them. But for your boy, I saw it for like a split second and it disappeared. It was like right when I was able to buy it, they pulled it from the shop entirely. So let's see, how much more of this video is viable? Okay, so what I want to get into, we'll stop it right there, because this is a long clip here. I wanted to showcase what happens when you get all the pieces. When you get all the pieces, you get that rocket radar. So what that does is that's another overlay. So you know how on your map you can see where things are, certain Pokestops, Pokemon. Well, this radar gives you another map that you can click on and see where these rocket grunts are. Now, these are the Go rocket grunts, not the regular ones. Although the maps pretty much are the same, it's just the Go rocket guys are invisible to you unless you're using that rocket stop or that rocket radar. So here I'm like, hey, let's go in with some fighting type Pokemon, and outside of Machamp, let's go with my 100% Latios. Your boy Cliff here, 3:25 p.m. was not having any of it. He leads out with his shiny, or not his shiny, but his Shadow Meowth, which I was hoping would be shiny upon winning. But you'll see here, his Meowth is, not too much higher than my Machamp. And that's a problem because although I got through the Meowth pretty easily, this Snorlax was bringing the pain. Now, what is that? He just blocked my attack. What they do is they block your first 2 attacks. They use their shields no matter what. So what you want to do, which is a nice PvP strategy, I know other YouTubers have pointed it out, the tip is to shield bait, which is you don't know what your opponent is going to use when they use their charge attack. So if you're scared, go ahead and use your shield. And that's a nice tactic that people probably used against me in tournaments past that I appeared in, where I had the type advantage Pokemon, but they knew I wanted to keep that Pokemon around for their other Pokemon that they switched out to. And they got me to use my shield early to where later on when they wanted to take out my strong Pokemon, I had no protection. So you've kind of got to do that to these Go Rocket Grunts. My advice would be to start changing your movesets, because in raids you want to fill up that bar and you've got ample time to tap, 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 because other people are helping you. And when you get that huge charge attack off, it's going to manifest itself in a way that benefits you. But you're not going to get that opportunity in these PvP battles because they go so quick. Your Pokemon may not live long enough to use a Solar Beam. You know what I mean? So if you've got a 2-bar move, a 3-bar move, the 3-bar moves are great. Any Pokemon that have 2 attacks, those help out too. So this is really where you're going to use your Stardust and your Candy if this is your thing. So you can see here, Cliff took me out. He beat me. And rather than bore you with all the details, this went on for several times. The person I was with, shout out to Sammy Jackson, she was polite and, pleasant about it. But she was able to finish her match, But your boy, it took... I'm not even going to show all of it because it was a couple hours doing this. No, they don't stay that long. Matter of fact, they only stay till 10 p.m. Not that I was out that late. You can see here about a timestamp. It was much earlier. But what I mean is they gradually move. So while you're at the stop and Cliff is there, you lose, or it takes you 10, 15 minutes, he's going to gradually move somewhere else. Kind of like how the clouds gradually appear to be moving. These rocket guys aren't staying in one spot long. So here I actually tried again. I start searching for some fighting type. And I even went as low as saying, hey, I got a good Heracross, right? I put a star there. He must be good. But still weak CP compared to what we saw in the Snorlax. And we're not even talking Tyranitar at this point because I needed at least 2 Pokemon to hang with that Tyranitar. So, yeah, just brutal all the way around. So let's move off of this fight and let's look at another clip here, because I finally was able to get better, okay? And by get better, I mean I was able to hang with them. So here I've got my Latios going against the Meowth first. I shouldn't have done that, but my thinking here was Latios is strong enough to just take him out first, and then I could save my Machamp going against the Snorlax. But what I didn't really think about was, okay, you're taking that one out quick, but you haven't got it to use any of its shield yet. So while you're building up your meter fast and getting off multiple attacks, you're not going to have enough life, not enough stamina to, continue. And that was the one flaw in this match here. In retrospect, hindsight's 2020. I can see all this now. But yeah, that Snorlax has 4 or 5 times the CP that my Latios has, and unfortunately he bit the bullet. So what made me think that this Machamp, who is getting those punches in, those Mike Tyson uppercuts, or not uppercuts, but jabs in, would hang. So here, I could never get an excellent with my Machamp. It was always great. Knock out the Snorlax. Here we're like, okay, I've got 2 Pokemon, all the shields were used, and here's Tyranitar. 1 hit. He knocks out my Machamp. So then it's just Groudon left, and Groudon is no match for this Tyranitar. Not at all. So it was sadness all the way around. I think at this point you saw it was like, one time, and this was like a half hour later. Spoilers. I didn't win. So I think I kept rematching here. But all in all, I'm going through a lot of max revives, a lot of potions to, revives just to get these guys back in. And I'm just like, I was just a few taps away. The one thing Candela said that was accurate was, hey, it was an epic battle. They only tell you the last Pokemon information on how to hang with that, Tyranitar being rock. But I'm like, what about the others? We knew, hey, the first 2 were fighting. You should have figured that out, I probably lost to Cliff, and I'm going to end the footage here. More of a note for me than you. Lost to Cliff at least 8 times in a row. Now, I'm more cool, calm, and collective in this video right now, but at the time, no. So the lesson here is, you don't get everything you want. Last video, somebody was like, yeah, you're lucky. Things work out for you. And I said, most of the time. Well, there you go. So, I didn't want this video to go too long. It's kind of long already. I wanted to show you guys, just a couple of pointers, because while I only showed you a little bit of Cliff in this video, those same kind of strategies are going to apply to Arlo and Sierra. And I haven't encountered either of them yet, but I will soon. It's just a matter of taking the time to do more of these rocket battles. I think I've done 61 or 66 out of 100. Some of you have already done 100. This is a good way to get to the 100. I think the next prestige after that is actually 1,000. So that's pretty crazy. But stay tuned for the next video, because I'm not giving up. I won't be defeated. I know I lost the battle, but the war is still going on. Have you reached Giovanni yet? Have you seen him? Have you beaten all 3 of these? Do you have any tips for me? Leave some of those in the comments when you can. Anything would be helpful. I know I've seen a couple of you struggle, and I didn't know what you were talking about because I hadn't gotten to that point yet. But it is very tough, and it's really mind over matter. You can't let these grunts get the best of you. I'm glad they made them tougher, though. It feels like you're actually fighting somebody except, you've got to be a little more clever. Most people, I don't know if they always use the first 2 shields. I would like to think people do. Or maybe they use 1 and then save 1 for the very end. It's kind of one way or the other. Some people, they use both of them in the beginning to save for their really bad, tough Pokemon at the end. Or they might use 1 for the second Pokemon. And, it's going to be a 2-for-1. 2 Pokemon ganging up on the best Pokemon. That's usually what it comes down to. If you're lucky, all 3 of your Pokemon stay alive, and only 1 Pokemon that you use takes out all 3 of your opponents. So, go figure. But that being said, stay tuned for the next video, because I will get my vengeance on Cliff. Trust that. And hopefully I can run into some of the other grunts, because to get all 15 of these pieces to move on to the next step, I'm going to need some more grunt encounters. So see you in the next one.